Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLC. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Shalela Victoria. Shalela Dowdy is a native of Mobile, Alabama. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in American Legal Studies, pre-law, from the United States Military Academy at West Point in 2012, and a Master of Arts in Leadership Studies from the University of Texas at El Paso in 2017. She is passionate about continuous growth, both professionally and personally. She served 6 years in the United States Army on active duty as an Air Defense Artillery Officer and Human Resource Officer. She is currently in the inactive Radio Reserves, where she holds the rank of captain and the position of Military Academy Liaison Officer. Shalela is an active member of the Atlanta branch of the NAACP, Greater Atlanta Urban League Young Professionals, DCAP section of NCNW, in Columbia, South Carolina, chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and Kappa Epsilon Psi Military Sorority Incorporated. Outside of her daily activities, she participates in pageants, freelance models, and coaches youth track and field athletes. She currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the table, Shalela Dowdy.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for the welcome. I really appreciate it.
Yes, you are welcome. So tell us more about your journey. I know you're in the military, and tell us more about your journey.
So originally I am from Mobile, Alabama. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia right now. And so Mobile is home. Mobile is the birthplace of Mardi Gras. I'm actually headed there. Well, I was supposed to go tonight, but I'll head home tomorrow. And one big thing about me is I'm the oldest of 10 kids, so I've been having to be a leader all my life. And so, as you stated in my bio, a big part of my journey thus far is the place where I went to undergrad. So a lot of people may or may not have heard of West Point. The official name is the United States Military Academy. And so upon graduation, or while I was in school, I ran cross country and track. So that's why I ended up coaching. That's why I somewhat coach now on the side still. And then I went on to serve 6 years in the United States Army as a air defense artillery officer. So for those of you who don't have a military background, air defense focuses on protecting, most likely just protecting the airways. And we kind of focused on doing that when I was deployed to Bahrain. So actually it's interesting, although I'm not on active duty, the things that we have going on right now between us and Iran is actually kind of what my job is centered around. We monitor the airspace to make sure that Bahrain wasn't shooting any tactical ballistic missiles. And interesting enough, now that I'm off active duty, we never saw any action. But now that I'm out of the Army, I'm seeing it occur, and it's just like so surreal. I'm like, that's what I was trained to do, and now they're having to deal with it. But so I chose to leave the military. I am a fan of the South. And while on active duty, I lived in El Paso, Texas for about 3 years, and Lawton, Oklahoma. And my last duty station was South Carolina, near the Columbia area, which is the state capital. And so when I left active duty, I wasn't really ready to go home to Alabama. And so I chose Atlanta. I think it's a great place for young professionals, especially young black professionals. So right now, I'm currently living in Atlanta, and I'm back and forth between South Carolina and Alabama, and I'm still somewhat establishing myself in the city. But so far it's been a great experience, and I'm making connections and networking with people and blazing my own path here in Atlanta to the best of my ability.
Okay, amazing. So tell us more about your passion.
So I'm really passionate about just uplifting women, and then definitely more so black women, because that happens to be who and what I am and how I identify with. And so I have a long-term goal. I have not put it into action yet, but I want to start a nonprofit. I kind of put it into works while I was in the military, and I'm thinking about calling it Fierce, Females Inspiring, Empowering and reinforcing continuous excellence. So that's what FEAR stands for, spelled out. But I'm just really passionate about uplifting women in general, and also social action is something that I'm very motivated by, being that where we are right now in America, there's still just so much work to be done, and so I'm able to be a contributing member within that realm just through the works of the NAACP here in Atlanta. And then also through our awesome sorority, I am the co-chair of the Social Action Committee in my chapter in South Carolina. And so, as you get older, your passions and your focuses and what you focus on and what you value and think important changes. And right now, for me, at this point in my life, equal rights and obtaining justice for all and focusing on helping redefine the criminal justice system, all those things are kind of like what I'm focused on right now. And currently, one big thing I'm focusing on is working with the NAACP and through the sorority on making sure everybody is counted, because this is the year that we will have the census, and this will also be the first year where the census can be taken online. So that's kind of like what it will be able, this is the age of technology. So all previous census, you had door knockers. Right now, each one of us will get something in the mail in early March, and we'll have like a code that we will use to log in and to take our census online. And people don't know that the census is very important. It's how our local communities receive its funding when it comes to school, when it comes to the roadways. It's a money thing, and if you don't take the census, you're not being counted, and your area is not receiving the money that it needs to receive. So that's something really big that I'm focused on right now is making sure that the Black community is counted, because throughout the years we have been severely undercounted.
Okay, I like that. Awesome. So you are the founder of the Delta Fears group. Tell us more about that.
So I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and given the age that we're in with technology, our sorority can be viewed by the public, and everything online about the sorority that I've been able to view hasn't been all positive. So, our organization is centered around service, sisterhood, service, and scholarship. But there are some things online that I think doesn't represent us in the best light. And when I talk to people and they find out I'm in a sorority, one of the first things that they tend to focus on is the fact that we step and we dance, and we are so much more than that. Our organization gives out millions every year in scholarships. We're helping to develop young women and young men in the local Black community. We're participating with being the voice for our people within our community. And so with the Delta Fears page, I was like, hey, I love the organization. I love highlighting what we do. Let me play a role in exposing what we do to the public. And so that was the initial viewpoint and thought process behind starting the Delta Fears page. So, and it was also a way, now that I have started, it's also a way for me to connect with my sorority sisters. I think that might be how me and you connected. I'm pretty sure that's how we connected via the page.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that because it's a sorority, like, it's just centered around college life, and what they don't understand for African American women in our sororities is a lifetime commitment. We have our alumni or grad chapters where our works and efforts continue on. So I also wanted to highlight our younger sorors, but highlight the work that our older sorors are doing, and to let just the community know that there's somebody out there that wants to assist with improving whatever it is that needs to be improved upon within our local community. So that was really why I started. I wanted to play a role in pushing out a positive image of our sorority as a whole, and just have fun with it and meet other sorority sisters. So now I'm to the point where if I go to a city and I want to connect with some members of our organization, I literally can just make a post on the page, and it's as simple as that when it comes to connecting.
Awesome. I'm loving that. So let's talk about, you are in the military. You are a captain, right? So what inspired you to join the military?
Okay, so in high school, I was in JROTC, Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, and a lot of people think that the JROTC programs around the country are like a feeder to get young people to join the military, and that is not it. I was in RTC sophomore, junior, and senior year. I did not join freshman year. Coming from middle school, I did not really understand the basis of the program. But then I got to high school. I saw the students wearing a uniform. I saw that they were professional. I saw that they had a little bit more discipline than some of the regular students, and I was like, hey, that's something I want to be a part of. So I joined the organization, was a fan of the values and the morals that it instilled within the within students as young people, and the opportunities that it provided us with being able to be leaders at a young age. We had a moral system that we kind of lived by, and it was leadership spelled out, minus some letters. So we focused on loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And I just really love how the JRTC organization as a whole, it just played a huge role in molding and helping shape who I was as a young person, and just it put me in a position to be a leader. My RTC instructor was a he retired from the Army as a lieutenant colonel after doing 20 years, and he's able to see students who he can pick out that possess the potential to be great and be a leader among their peers, and he helps develop them and mold them. So from RTC, you go from high school to college, and so I have an aunt that is 4 years older than me, and she also went to West Point. And so when I got there and I got to college, she left. When I came to high school, she left. So she's 4 years older than me. But I ended up in the Army because I chose to go to the United States Military Academy at West Point. So the service academy is somewhat equivalent to attending Yale, Harvard, Cornell, Princeton. It's considered one of the Ivy League schools. West Point and Annapolis, the Navy Academy. So when you go to West Point, regular college, you have your academics. Well, at West Point, you have academic classes, military classes, and physical fitness classes. And then for me, I was a cross-country athlete and a track and field athlete, so it was very overwhelming. But for the students, upon graduation, you commission into the Army as a second lieutenant, as an officer. And college was free. I did not pay for anything. There was like a $2,000 fee that we had to pay in the beginning. I'm the oldest of 10. I come from the lower class, and so my awesome RTC instructor, he reached out to the principal, and the principal reached out to the PTA when I was in high school, and somehow my high school produced a $2,000 check for me to give to my college. And that prevented me we had to pay for some stuff, and what they would have done was they would have taken it out of the little paycheck I got once a month. We got like $175 freshman year. But I had a lot of people and mentors that looked out for me along the way. And so upon graduation, you commission as a second lieutenant into the Army. And that's kind of how I ended up in the military, basically because I went to West Point. And it was a great experience. I met some great people. I wasn't a huge fan of the moving around, so that's like one reason why I got out. You don't really get much of a say-so all the time on where the Army decides to stick you. But that's really why I ended up in the military. And then West Point, it's called like the premier institution for leadership. Your whole 4 years, they're just instilling within you on how to be a great, successful leader, because you're going to be out here leading American sons and daughters. So that's how I ended up in the Army.
Okay, I'm loving your journey, so thank you for sharing that. So, Shalela, what is some advice you would give to listeners who might be thinking about, climbing the corporate ladder, might be in the military, they're listening, they're thinking about climbing that ladder of becoming a captain? What is some advice you would give to that listener?
So some people might not know the breakdown and the structure of the military. So you have enlisted and you have officer. Enlisted would be like the people that join the military right out of high school. So when you're enlisted, you take the route of like private, specialist, sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant major, that side. But if you go to West Point or if you go to college and you do RTC, the RTC service members, when they enter the military, they enter as second lieutenants as well. And so the officer side is second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, and then you hit the general. And so my advice would be whether you're enlisted or if you come in on the Army side, would be not Army, the officer side. And the perks between the two, officers, you get paid more money. You got to have a degree to be an officer. You have less people over you, and I would highly suggest go the officer route. But when it comes to being successful in the military and in the corporate realm, which I can speak on the corporate realm a slight bit. I did after leaving the Army, I worked for Deloitte as a consultant the past year. But my suggestion would be to find a mentor. Find a mentor that looks like you, but then also find a mentor that doesn't look like you. The mentor that looks like you can provide very valuable information on how to maneuver within that particular sector. The military has its ways, and corporate America has its ways about them. And so if you have found a mentor who's been where you've been, they can kind of help assist and guide you along the way. But it's also important, most of us want our mentors to look like us, which majority of mine do look like us. But I have a few mentors that don't look like me. My high school RTC instructor, old white male, but he's amazing. He's awesome because they can provide you with a different viewpoint that the mentor who looks like you does not. So that would be my first suggestion. Find a mentor. My second suggestion would be to always have a goal that you're working towards. Never just go through the motion of, hey, I'm doing my job, I'm accomplishing my job, I'm going to work, I'm coming home. You should always be working towards a long-term goal. What's your end state? How do you want to improve yourself? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Because that keeps you from becoming complacent. If you have a goal that you're always working towards, it kind of gives you a motivation, and it gives you a push to be better than you were the day before. And so, yeah, those are the two things I would focus on when it comes to moving up the ranks and being successful in the military and corporate.
Okay. So I asked all of my guests this question. How did you create your seat at the table?
Okay, so from that question, I'm trying to figure out, I'm relating it back to, like, how do I feel like I came up on your radar?
Pretty much, how did you create your seat at the table? How did you build your own table? How are you creating your seat at the table?
Oh, okay, so you're just referring to in life. I'm doing that by remaining true to who I am. A lot of people try to conform to, like, some certain system of what they think they need to do to be liked by others, to be accepted by others. And sometimes when you do that, you're not living up to your full potential. So I make sure to remain true to who I am, my values, and who and what I believe in and what I stand for. And with that, I just really I live within those realms and hope that people take me as I am, because if anything, I want to be comfortable. I'm not a big fan of making other people comfortable. Sometimes it's best to make those people uncomfortable. But and also, if you happen to be in a room and there isn't a seat to the table, pull a seat up and have them make room. Don't ever be the person that just stands off to the back waiting to be seen. I say make yourself noticeable and make yourself seen and make your voice heard, because closed mouths don't get fed, basically.
I love that. Thanks for shining light on to that. So what did failure teach you on your journey, Shalela?
Failure taught me not to be afraid to fail. That's still something that, I struggle with, because failure can make you vulnerable. Failure can make you, it can kind of break you down and make you aware of weaknesses that you sometimes don't want to admit that you have. But as I take this journey throughout life, I'm learning to be accepting of failure. No one is perfect. You're gonna make mistakes, and from that failure, I am in the process of just telling myself, you can learn from that failure. Never just fail and not take anything away from it. You can use everything as a learning moment, as a teaching moment, and use that information to make sure you don't fail again. So use everything as a learning moment. Don't just let the failure happen and not take away anything from that certain situation.
So you're very successful, Shalela. So what did success teach you on your journey?
Success taught me to be patient and to not rush things that I want to happen. You know, sometimes I don't want to get spiritual up in here, but sometimes we have a plan for ourselves, but then I personally believe that not just God, but the higher being who watches over us, sometimes they have a plan for us. So success taught me you need to be flexible, because you can have a plan, you can be trying to fulfill this plan, going on this journey, and then you have an obstacle occur, something gets in your way, and so you have to learn how to adapt and overcome, get back on the path of trying to achieve success, but also just be flexible. Don't be set in one way. Be willing to bend over backwards and maneuver through the journey called life.
Awesome, because that is important, right? Being able to embrace the process and thank you for shining light on that, because that's so important, that you stay humble also as you continue to climb the path of success. So what can we expect from you in 2020?
Oh, that's a lot, because unfortunately so every year, and I shouldn't say that because it's January. You know, everybody should have their goals, but for some reason I did not create a vision board, so I got to do that at some point, so I can become more focused for 2020. But what I want to do is create an additional stream of income. We shouldn't all rely on like that one source of income, because you never know when something will happen, and that one stream of income can be cut off. So I want to create an additional stream of income, and I want to kind of do that by opening like a small business. And at the moment, creativity isn't one of my strong areas, but I do want to open some type of small business before the year's out. I also start writing a book. So the end state, if I don't publish, well, I don't know if I probably won't publish it in 2020, but I want to at least start the process of writing the book and possibly be halfway, if not done with the book, when 2021 gets here. So still trying to focus on what I want to write about. I'm really thinking about writing about my West Point experience. I haven't seen many books written by a black female graduate. So women didn't come to West Point until 1976. First class graduated in 1980. They had women in it, and there was 2 African-American women. And the journey at West Point's a pretty high-profile place. If something happens at the school, it hits CNN, and it's just very high-profile. You might see it in the news coming up in the future. I can't talk about it more, but just when anything happens at the school, it kind of hits the media. But I really want to write about that experience, because West Point, when I was there, was only 6% black. And so it just has a unique history. And I think I want to possibly tell my story on my experience there. I kind of experienced a few things centered around race and racism that I just want to talk about my journey and my experience and how I was able to overcome that and be successful. So that would be what the book could focus on. And I think right now, when it comes to writing a book, that would be a particular area that I could focus on and be willing to just sit down and push out the information. I need to do it soon before, as you get older, your memory isn't as great as it used to be. But thankfully, while I was in school, we had Facebook, so I could go back and look at some stuff, because when I was in college, I wrote how I felt a lot online. But so opening some sort of small business where I create additional income and working on a book. So those are 2 things I want to focus on in 2020.
Okay, amazing. Well, congratulations on all the great things that you're about to do in this year, this new decade, and this new year. So congratulations in advance, Shalela.
Thank you, and I appreciate you asking me that question, because you kind of made me have to speak it into existence, and now I really have to work on it now.
Yes, it's all about manifestation, right? It's all about manifestation. Yes. So tell our listeners how they can follow and support you on all social media platforms.
So my personal social media, Facebook is Shalela Victoria, SHALELA, and then Victoria. Instagram and Twitter, it's Lela V89, LELA, the letter V as in Victoria, 89. And then as we discussed, I have the Delta Fierce page, and so If you're a soror, you can follow the page. If you're interested in the organization, if you just love Delta women, because you know everybody loves Delta women, you can follow the page. I post pretty entertaining content at times and just keeping people informed on the awesome things that Delta women are doing in society. That's one thing I forgot to talk about when it comes to the page. We got women. We have 7. I think we have 7 women in Congress right now, and a plethora of women all across the country in the arts, in Hollywood, in elected official positions. And so that was one thing I didn't mention. I used the page to just highlight the awesome things that we are doing, because when you walk into a room, you can, and if there's a black woman in there, it's a high percentage chance that she might be a Delta.
Amazing. You know, that's what we do. We're all over the world, millions of us. So thank you for letting us know how they can follow you and support you and listen to you on all platforms and connect with you. Shalela is definitely somebody to connect with for our listeners. And, yes, she is my soror of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So definitely make sure you connect with her, you know, and get involved and work with her in the future. So, Shalela, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come to the table tonight. This has been an amazing interview, and I can't wait to invite you back to the table.
I appreciate it, Ashley. Thank you for having me, and thank you for taking the time out to listen to my journey. I had a great time. So, yeah, thank you.
And I look forward to working and collaborating with you in this new year.
Yes. Thank you. And I look forward to doing the same.
Awesome. So we'll talk soon. So I would like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University. And I would also like to give a special thanks to my other intern, Vontaria, from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.